Thank you. This time, without touching the... thank you. Are you still running? Yeah, you're still running. That's a bit of a funny... Oh, crikey. No. So, well, this was just an idea of a different holder grabber thing to have. It's not terribly effective. We do it down too low and it will just fall off. So, yeah. Are we still running? Yeah, we're still running. Well, you know, it's not great. It might drop off at any minute. Right, I suppose you need to synchronize with that one. Yeah, so what I'm doing is just last little bits of polish, but I say there's a limit to what you can do, and it's better conditioned than when I got it, so that's the main thing. So that was put the buffer up in the other room, in the spray department, and give it a run, which is cool. Yeah, I mean this scratch remover stuff is mighty good. Does some amazing things. I mean, there's a little hairline scratch on here. Let's see if it does any removing of that. Anyway, so next steps on this, I've got some things to do tonight. One of which is to do a test piece of spraying. I've been had for a while a high volume, low pressure spray setup. Oh, hello there. I forgot, I should be talking to that camera more than anything. High volume, low pressure spray setup, HVLP. And up to this point I haven't had a chance to give it a go. And part of the reason I was doing a lot of research into, you know, the different ways I could use it. And I have to say, the information on this is very, very difficult to find online. I've probably said this before, but it's like if you know someone in the industrial paint spray business, then you can probably find out a lot of very good information. But if you're a newcomer and you do what most people do, which is to go online and try and find some information, it's incredibly difficult, surprisingly difficult to find information. So, and I've known this from a while back. So what I bought the other day as a sort of start point is one of the things I found is you can go on forever and ever trying to find the right thing. And as a result, you keep getting conflicting things, and eventually you never get there. So I decided to go with a sort of start point, which was to buy some fairly large volume, 5 litres. Let me just get something. 5 litres of 5 litres of what did I get? Waterborne poly. So that was my start point. So I got that stuff, and I thought, well, I'll get that in and then we'll take it from there, and I'll see what I can make that work with. How are we doing there? Oh yeah, we can see things. Dunno. This is all the gubbins, that the entire contents of this guitar, but I'm now going to put bits together again and get most of it, as much as possible, back on, and then we'll go for the replacing the wiring and stuff. Yeah, so anyway, I went ahead and bought the water-based stuff, and so I've got that sitting out there. And then came the next question, which is, well, what can I actually use that with? And that becomes a real absolute pain in the somewhere or other. How well does this? It sort of works. I'm sure I'm sort of down here somewhere. Anyway, we'll see. It's just a trial. Yeah, so I started looking for what you could use with it, and I'm sure there's a ton of really good information, but my goodness, can I not find it? Not clearly anyway. The minute you think you've located something that tells you what you can do. You discover that the language or the terms that these people are using are variable, and suddenly they change again, and somebody's 1 minute they're talking about a finish, then next minute they're talking about a lacquer, next minute they're talking about urethane, next minute they're talking about poly, and next minute they're talking about acrylic, and then something else. And it just becomes, I wish I'd found that blasted box spanner thing that I bought specially for this business. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so one seems to get nowhere pretty quickly. So one of the things I found out yesterday, which seemed really confusing to me, and that is somebody wrote that acrylic paint is basically a water-based paint. Now, I get that if you're talking about a tube of acrylics that an artist will use, right? I understand. Oh yeah, water-based. I can see that in my mind's eye. I've added water to acrylic. I've painted with it, so I get it. But what I don't understand is what happens to it when it's coming out of a can marked Halfords or such and such, you know, Simonitz or whatever the deal is. So that suddenly becomes a whole different ballgame. Is that water-based? Because it comes out full of inflammable smelling solvents, and yeah, and it kind of melts. One layer seems to melt the next layer, the solvent seems to melt the next layer. So, you know, the first thing you go is, well, hang on a minute, that's not water-based. What we're talking about now, you know, so suddenly, you know, is that essentially still a water-based paint, but just delivered by some sort of alternative solvent method? It's just really difficult to get your head around, and I can't find answers to that when I need to know them. So that leaves me all confused sort of thing. So anyway, so the plan is, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to spray a piece of wood with car paint, acrylic car paint, which I've kind of enjoyed using. It seems to be a pretty dependable substance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now wouldn't you know it, I'm missing a single screw. 4 single screw for the tuners. 1 screw missing. Black tuner screw. I have to find one somewhere else. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna do a little test later on, shortly after I've done this, and I'm going to find me a piece of wood and that'll do. It's a bit long, but it will do. Yeah, I'll do a test spray and see how that looks. Well, more to the point, see how it works in a couple of days, and I'll spray it with some more, or spray it over with this water-based poly, which is a very nice, harmless. It's a much more environmentally friendly substance. So that's why I'm interested in using that. So I kind of pushed myself to begin with that, give myself no choice in a way, which I'm fine with that as a start point. And so the question is, will that water-based finish coming out of this Apollo spray gun business, will that work well on top of, let's say, metallic car finish? Now I know, of course, you can get metallic, you can get acrylic clear coats to go with the same the kind of paints that I've used on Adam's body in there. Adam's body. So yeah, you can always just carry on, you know, using the same sort of system. Oh look, it's acrylic. Well, let's add more acrylic. Let's do it all in acrylic. Well, that's cool. But what I'm kind of keen to know, I mean, my basic question is, what colour paints can I use this waterborne finish with? And I can't find a credible answer other than, well, you could spray some poster paints, I suppose, or you could spray any kind of paint you like as long as it's water-based. Well, okay, that's helps me. What kind of paint? Give me, and then you go and look for water-based paints, and you find everything except something useful that you'd like to start with. It's very confusing. Anyway, so I really, what I'd like a set of colours that I could mix and spray out of my high volume, low pressure gun system, which I would like them to be environmentally friendly, i.e. water-based and not so stinky and toxic based. And I'd like to be able to thin and clean them out with water and then spray water-based clear finish on top. Now, until I figure that out, I can obviously still happily spray the water-based finish on top of bare wood, which will look pretty good. So that's not a problem, but I still, and I can probably quite easily find some water-based stains as well, which means I can do some nice finish effects before spraying the finish, or I can stain the finish that I'm using as well, so that's not a problem. But it's just a little bit underwhelming. Now, I have a problem here in that, remember I said that I wasn't clear about whether or not this bridge needs grounding, and I don't understand why not, because it's not grounded. As far as I can see, it's neither grounded, there's nothing coming out here grounding the bridge. I can't see why it would be grounded in any way through the pickups, because nothing's touching anything, so and the switch wouldn't ground it when you're touching it. So weird as it might sound, I'm probably still going to add a ground wire to this, just until I figure out, it won't hurt until I figure out otherwise why this wouldn't be the way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a Dremel thing, and I'm going to fire a little hole in the side here, and in through the side of let me just step that up a minute, in through the side of post, and then we'll put a little wire in there. I think as with the other one, I think we're going to probably need to resin these posts in, because it's hard to get them. You remember, I don't know if you remember on the last one, there was an issue about the size of the drill bit. It's just between the half sizes, it's just too big for one, too small for the other. So we're going to be a little bit oversized, if anything. Come on, through you go. Might just do some cutting and then do a bit more speed. Well, after all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Oh, I've dropped some cloths on the floor. We are here to carry on with this thing, the Matt Heafy 7:6 conversion. So I took it away home and did the repairs on the edges and stuff, and then came back and buffed it up, and that was okay, but then ended up, while drilling a hole, ended up making another little ding, which I had to then fill and buff out again. So been a fair bit of buffing and dinging and buffing. So anyway, it's not bad, and that's just got dust on it from buff land. Being black, you can never keep it clean long enough, but there you go, it's looking all right. So I think the time has come to sort of install this stuff back together, and I think the important bit really will be to get the whole the electrics cradle back in, which means a bit of careful threading to get things back up through the holes up to this place here where that thing goes, which I've got a new one off. That thing that's known as the switch, which got beaten up in its in the travels, so I didn't want to trust it any further. So here we've got the two pickup clips. We've got this thing here that's sort of in the way of everything, so that's going to get tangled if I don't take that out first. Right, that's untangled that. Turns, things. Okay, so in a way, it might be a good idea to start by getting these pots loosely, gently in place. Now, they came with, or they were held up in different states of repair by some washers. So I'm going to need to work this all back out. Probably have a few washers standing by for any that we've lost, because it means that these stand in a certain place, so they don't stick too far through. Okay, and it involves all of these little bits here. As I say, a few extra ones, nuts and washers, won't hurt at this point in time. So this is the 3-camera setup, and I honestly don't know how long it will be before it runs out of memory and stuff. So we'll just try it. Okay, so those longish long. Okay, so these had, if I recall, these had some full size of these nuts on them to keep them off the ground, and then there's 3 of these type of washers. Probably a load more in here. There's another one. Let's make that 4. Let's have 4 of these types of nuts, just to be on the safe side. These were used as lifters more than anything else. And then there's 4 which are doing the job of holding, and that one looks a bit small, so I don't quite know what that one was doing. Another lifter. Put these back. Absolutely hammering it down in rain bland here, as usual. Okay, a couple of spares on there, a couple of washers for the outside. We've got enough washers for the outside. Okay, so I'm going to try and reinsert these and sort of basically have a look where they fall in terms of their sticking outness. We don't want them too far out, but we also don't want them too not far out. Now that one is a custom sized small nut, which I now discovered it's going to have to be this one because the rest are too big. I've got this funny bit of leftover felt weird stuff that came out of a sort of healthy meals delivery thing that my stepson got. I just thought I'd try it out as a bit of I don't know what you call it. I'm not sure this is quite happy that way. Yeah, I was just trying it out as a bit of, excuse me, a little bit of thing to rest the guitars on. Let's just try and turn this round where it should be. Come on, you, turn around. Let's get you positioned. Let's see if this works. Feels all right. That's one in. I'll make sure that these other fiddly bits are sort of standing out of the way in places that we can do stuff with them. They actually sort of slightly interlink some of these. They've been, it looks like they've been soldered together in, unfortunately, in meaning that they aren't going to, I'm never going to really be able to untangle them the way things are going. So let's see. I just think we had a couple of spacer washers and things, nuts here. They weren't grippy nuts, they were just spacers. Yeah, that's about right actually. 2 and a spacer. These are slightly larger because they're brass, and the other one was a standard zinc alloy one. They should grip it okay. Get it into a good safe position for doing up. Difficult to get things to stay where you want them to. So I'm going to do the same thing with sort of spacing nut and washer down here. Excuse me. It's sort of tricky when you've got loose things to get things to stay where you want them. It's the bridge tone. Bridge tone. That's also brass, so I should get that on okay. Now, that doesn't want to go quite. So we've got one thing too many happening here. So I'm going to remove the washery bit and try it with just this. I think that might just be enough. Oh, well, first of all, that's the wrong. The reason that isn't working is because it's the wrong sized. What's it? So let's put that grippy washer back on. Come along. Fits all the way on, thank you. Fits all the way on. Problem with this sort of wiring, as you can see, it's lots of handling of components in and out of the guitar, which I don't like at even the best of times. The less we have to take things in and out, the better. One more to go. That one, and that one. We'll go over there. Tip over the nuts one more time. So this week, what's been going on this week? This week I have sent a load of, or uploaded a bunch of videos at courtesy of Bert over in the US of A. Crazy though it sounds, that's how I do my video uploading. I physically mail them to him, and he very kindly takes the SD cards and dumps the load of videos onto his spare laptop, and I log in from the UK and use his whizzingly quick bandwidth to upload. Okay, now I've got one too small here for some reason. Yeah, so it's a really good little system for me. Gets it done in no time at all. Now, what's getting in the way? It's this washer that's getting in the way. Yeah. So this washer doesn't fit. So yeah, I got a whole load of videos arrived there this week, and a lot of them were videos for my up and coming ebook, and only 3 of them this time were setup videos. But as soon as the SD cards come back, I've got another 8 already to go. Not even counting this one and the work I'm going to do this weekend. So plenty of stuff going on in terms of. I'll keep that out actually. In terms of upcoming videos. Upcoming videos. Come on, please. Right. Okay. Those are in place. Those are in place. Everything looks like it's working. So here we have now. The big trick now is getting all of these back up through into the various places. So to help, I'm going to tie off these wires so they don't, well, hopefully they don't get quite so tangled up as they go through, but that's only hopeful, wishful thinking. Let's try, excuse me, try and get this through. Now we get ourselves a, it might actually help to have, oh no, I can't get through here. Lay down, you. Let's get ourselves one of these. See if we can maybe push it through with one of these. Or maybe, no, that's not loose enough. Too stiff, in other words. Let's see if we can do it with this. Yes. Anyway, yeah, so it's been a busy week and lots of stuff coming up. I've got Pat's Harley Benton has arrived from the Tomans, and that's going to be, I'm going to get that in here this weekend and set that up for her. So hopefully next week, early next week, she can take delivery of that and start her guitar playing career all over again. Okay, on you go, through there. Look at that. Lovely. Yeah, I've got David's Telecaster that's come in from all the way from Ireland, which is in for a refret. So tonight, when I finish here, I'm going to take my digital caliper back down to the house and measure, or do my best to measure the gauge of the frets that are currently on that guitar, because we'll try and get something similar. Okay, so that's that. Now we've got our pickups to come through as well. And we have the neck first. Let's try and get that one through. So I think my fuzzy stuff isn't such a good idea. It's catching, this stuff here is catching on all manners of everything. Okay, so I've now got these great big bits of green tape getting in the way, so we know that one's the neck because it's going in first. It's the problem when people wire these up, they always end up with something in the way of something else, so getting things back in through is quite a challenge. Right, here comes the first one. Stay. You just need to find this, pull it through. And then in you go, through you go. It's difficult to get it to come all the way through, but you just have to be patient, keep on pushing. If necessary, if it helps, give it a push through with this as well. Difficult now, it's lost its pushability. Yep, there it is. Try to go, come back. Don't lose you. Hurrah. Okay, so we know where things are. This is now a bridge one, and it's only going to go to one possible place, known as the bridge. See it. I can just see it. Now this becomes a little difficult to get hold of. No, doesn't want to play. Right, we have 4 screws for holding the pickups in place. Pickups come with their own built-in rubber springs, effectively. In goes the connector, the little squares sticking up. There's the first one, also known as the neck, and it goes on there like that, and we find ourselves a screwdriver. In fact, we'll use this one. I've just bought myself an ebony fretboard to build a neck my own. Ooh. Which is kind of scary and exciting and all good stuff. So I've got a mahogany blank to carve from scratch. Can go from there. Right, get this down just below level. Okay, number 1, number 2. Lovely. Probably need to push that back through a little bit. Too much of everything. Now while I was at it, that's what I was going to do. I was going to get me a little wire. What I was going to do, make me a little wire. And how was I going to do it? It comes out of there. Is that a hole I can see in there? Maybe there is a... I don't know. Well, actually, let's have it in black. So this is going to sit up against the wire. No, against the post of this bridge, and make an electrical contact. Now if that don't work that way, I'm going to have to try it this way. Come on. Okay, there's the wires, there's the thing. Right, so what we've basically got, I'm going to have to mix up some stuff to go with it. Let's put this wire through here, hopefully through into the cavity, but I can't really see at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Okay, let's get both of these through, pickups through. What's that? Oh, that's so weedy, attachment. Oh, that don't look so great. Right, I don't actually think I'm going to get this. Maybe I get this wire through. It's too rubbery. That's the downside of it. It's rubbery. If it had been the harder type wire, it would have been fine, but it's not. It's soft, rubbery, so I'm going to need to use this again. Okay, so yeah, plenty of guitars on the go at the moment. I've got another 7 down to 6 string conversion coming up for Vince, who I've done one for before, and he wants a custom one from scratch this time. There we are. Come on, out you come. Yeah, and we're going to, I think we're going to use a 7-string kit from a didn't really stay on long, but that will do. Tell you what, I'm just going to cut this off. Yeah, we're using a 7-string kit from a supplier, woodworking body parts supplier that I've used before. It's a very good quality. This is really right. That's in place. Good. You stay there. So yeah, that'd be the another 7 to 6 conversion. That'll be exciting. And how's this going to work? How's that going to work, and how's that going to end up staying in the right place without catching that under there? That's in the way. See if I can help some wires out. Okay, that connects to that one. It's a bit of a wimpy connection, if you ask me. That one connects to there. That's good. Yeah, get under that. See, it's such a rough, old-fashioned technology, this whole business. Squeezing things in place and getting things out of the way of other things and hoping this one will go in and that one will get out of the way of that one, and it's crude. Okay, so we know where that one's going. That is a bit of a crudely made device. That's okay, that's okay. We're going to get those hooked up there. That's as tidy as that's going to go. Maybe we'll pull a bit more through. No, that's all the way to the back of that pot, so there's no more leeway there. And this one, ah, great. Where does that one go? Okay, these are that one's there. Okay, that's the jack, right? Okay. Again, not very good pair of wires, so I might want to replace these. That goes to the jack as well. And this thing dangles round inside, sort of dangerously loose to catch onto anything. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo this. I'm going to put this in a bit of shielded what's it first, so that we can hide it, protect it so it doesn't run into anything else. There's no point, no need to have a grounding out just for the sake of it. Okay, so that's the thing. That will come through there. That connects to that. It's a bit stiff this way, it'll do. And that pushes up through into the battery compartment. And this goes through to the jack. And this also, no, sorry, that doesn't go to the jack. Where does that go to? This goes to ground. So that will be that's ground. Okay, that's bridge, neck, down bridge, volume out, switch back down is this one, which goes out to there, that goes to the ground, that goes, oh I see, do I? That goes there now, so we need 3 to there, of which this is 1 and those are 2. Okay, so that's right, those are the jack lead, but again they're really stiff. I don't know how well we'll fit those. Okay, so I'm just looking at getting this back together again, and anything that needs tidying up. The main thing really is what we've got to do is rewire the, rehook up the switch with the new switch, and we have to, I want to cover off this sticking out hot wire down here, positive wire, which if I don't cover it off, it's likely to touch out on something, which is what we don't want, because that will spoil the thing altogether. But really, before I can do that, I'll probably need to do all of that stuff over there, which is a pain when you've got all your specialist cameras set up over here. So I really don't think I'm going to move all of that stuff. I'm going to go off camera for that. Not because, it's just because there isn't a lot of wiring to do, but it's just hooking this up to the switch, new switch. It's hooking those up and putting them back in place. And I spent so much time getting the cameras put in place on this occasion. I think I'm just going to leave them put, if you don't mind. It's a Friday evening. You'll let me off, won't you? Why do they wrap these things like this? Gee. Surprisingly it doesn't break more. Look at that, it's absolutely, completely stuck around this knob thing, tip. Logs. My back is killing me. I'm trying to take down the humidity out there as well, because the plan is to do some spraying shortly. Okay, so I'm going to press all of these off. Right, back again. We've done the soldering, just going to turn it on and off. It's interesting to notice that on this guitar, I don't know if it's the same with other EMGs, but when you have the active pickups on, the unselected pickup still has a little bit of receptiveness. It's not completely silent. It's quite noticeable. I noticed that with the tuning fork when I did the sort of test. Anyway, but it's afraid it's how it is. Oh, there goes the lid. There goes the lid to the resin. Oh, great. Where did that go? It's always going to be somewhere you can't get to, isn't it? Right, try it. Good old feet. Right. Okay, so I'm going to only use a little bit of resin in here, just enough to hold the new posts in place. In particular, a bit on the side of this one, but I want to be able to fit it in so it makes contact with the that thing, which is known as bridge post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm just going to scuff up these bits a little bit so I can get contact with metal. You don't need to see any paint down there anyway, that's no problem. Okay, now in this case I'm going to apply this. It's a question. How am I going to apply it? Well, I'm going to first of all squish this off to one side. Okay, I'm going to put some resin around the other side, try and keep it mostly away from the metal. I'm going to place it the wind blowing, something terrible. Okay, now we have it in there like so. Lovely. I'm going to do a little similar bit for this one, but not that much, doesn't really need much, just enough to grip the sides a little bit. And that will be done. Lovely, look at that. Done. Resin done with. The only potential downside on using resin in this sort of situation is obviously you don't want the resin to get stuck in the you don't want the bridge thread of the post to get stuck on the resin. So you want to keep it sort of fairly high up out of there to begin with. I mean, that's fine. Okay, and then we can place our bridge on. Okay. There we are. So hard to keep the black finish clean. Dust builds up incredibly quickly. Right, we've got the stop bar pieces now, stop bar and its pieces, and really we're into really stringing it up. There's a tiny little bit of fingerprint or something that I'm going to polish out. I need to find replacement or a spare. I'll tell you what I didn't do. I didn't put the rhythm and treble bit back on. It's kind of worn out, but I can stick it on. I'll put it on in a minute. Let me find another one of these pots. Knobs is the word I'm looking for. So many plastic bits everywhere. So a good look around here. I've only got a million of these to choose from. Choose any number. Let's grab a handful of these style and see one or other of them works. So here, thank you. Here are our originals here, and here are our replacements. That sort of looks similar. That looks perfectly the same. It's down here. Again, I can't quite get the all the dust out from under here as I'm trying it. It's like static dust holding it in place. Now these knobs I find very difficult to get to work. I hate pushing down a plastic knob on a metal thing. I'm always terrified it's going to break. I think that is the odd one out because it doesn't want to sit down quite the same as the other ones. It's not force it. That's okay. It doesn't want to sit down the same as the others. It could be because this is slightly crushed inwards for some reason. That's okay. Right. So what we need here is a little bit of a undo, followed by a stick of this down. Now we can put a tiny bit of double-sided tape on here. We'll find some that isn't quite as heavy duty as the other one, but isn't any there. Let's find it in here. Okay. Did have a second type of tape. It wasn't as grippy as the duck permanent tape, but right now it's evading me, so I'm going to have to use the duck. There's duct tape, which is standard gaffer tape, but that's no good. I'll just have to use a bit of this. I'll use a very small amount. Just going to cut around this. There's some days nothing seems to work. Your arms and legs and things just seem to be on a no-go mode. Today is one of those days. Seem to be trying to cut something that doesn't want to cut. The thing that's blunt and doesn't want to cut either. Okay. Let's have a fresh bit of knife. So what we're going to do is we're going to just looking at the height of this bridge. I need to put it lower, obviously. And we're going to just get this rhythm treble selector thing back on. Of course, it's been difficult because it's soft plastic. It wants to tear it up. Right, let's try this instead. Fiddly things like this can be most annoying. Come on, undo. Right. undo thing. Much bite left in it, this thing. I think I'm going to need another one sooner or later. Sooner rather than later. It's mashing its little teeth up. Things become so fiddly. They really, really do. And before I do anything there, I'm going to do a tiny bit of polishing. If I can remember, find where I put my stuff. There is some. Sorry, this has got a bit boring. It's a Friday night, and as you can tell, I'm not in the world's most conversational mode ever. But so I'm just going to get rid of any little. There's some sort of tape marks from before. I'll get rid of those and then put this one down. Yeah, Friday evening, and I'm saying it like I would have in some other time. I would have been doing something exciting like partying, which I wouldn't be doing anyway, so there's no great loss. Right, let's put this on. Hold these in place, turn it round one more time, correct way round, stop it turning, that's it. Right, there we are. Move that out of the way, okay. Clear up. Got a couple more strap buttons come in because the other ones were completely crackered, so where they've gone I don't know. I've got some sticky bits stuck here. I thought I brought them up, so they may have been left at home. Oh no, here they are. There's the new ones. Right, okay, so let's wind this down. It feels okay, and now what I'll do is, just to be on the sort of safe side, let's just wind it back out and see if we picked up any resin on the way down. We haven't, so that's fine. Same here. Okay, so there's our bridge. Now that's too low. Let's have a quick scoot along there. Yeah, it's got to go a bit higher. Deceptively much higher. Let's start there. Okay, so we've got everything back in place except the truss rod adjuster, which I'm not going to do anything to. Nuts done, frets are all done, so now it's to get a good set of strings. We'll go with some 10s. And now this is the first taste of how things are. So we're going to go 3, miss 1, 3. these where's the tuning thing? So I'm going to put these all round facing the front so that it gives me a bit of an easier start to get on with. I can hear you falling off down there. Put this one on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one back, put that there, pull it back a fret's worth, and I'm going to put it on as if I was putting it on the correct way. And of course this is now all over the place, so that looked quite a bit too low, so I'm going to bring both sides of this up while I'm at it before I get any tension on this at all. Got a fairly good visual start point. That's not too far off. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's do the next one. Again, I won't do them up very tightly at this point in time. So we know that the strings are going to come inwards a little bit from the stop bar. That's the nature of the 7-to-6 conversion. Had a great Zoom one-to-one today with Greg. It's enjoyable talking to people and answering questions that have bugged them over the screen, on the screen via something like Zoom. And it's an honour to be able to do it and to make a little bit of a living from doing it. And one of the things that I really enjoyed seeing was encouraging Greg to crank that truss rod and to overcome a sort of an age-old fear of doing it, which many of us guitarists developed over the grapevine, the sort of black magic, spooky grapevine that, made us think something terrible would happen if we so much as touched the truss rod. And hopefully I encouraged him to overcome that hesitancy of doing that by just getting him to crank the truss rod and see what happens. So long may his experiments with truss rods continue. That's the aim. Okay, let's get these lined up. But yeah, you can't really cover so much in an hour. Well, it was an hour and a half actually, but you can't get through that much in that time. And you're left thinking, if only we had time, I could cover X and Y. But there is but a limit. But it feels a very cool thing to be able to do, and to know that what I was able to take him through was useful. That's such a buzz. Okay, so the last two strings. What have I got to do? Not a lot. We are getting there. Which is which? That's the B. That's the high E. Now this is interesting, putting this bridge in place, because if I recall, if you followed it by eye when replacing it, you wouldn't put it where I put it. You'd put it in the wrong place because the original wasn't quite in the right place. So in having the opportunity to redo it, I can reposition it, which is kind of quite a cool thing to be able to do. You've got to be very sure you know where you're putting get these stupid bits of green tape out of my life. Be sure you're putting your marks in the right place when it comes to it. Okay, I may need a small adjustment anyway on the bridge rollers. I was thinking about these bridges the other day, and because Vince contacted me for a custom 7 to 6 conversion, and we're going to start with a kit on that, in that case, and we're going to make it a bit more customized. But one of the things that I was saying to him was that it's kind of limited by this shallow bridge. Well, in a sense it isn't. It's only limited by the shallow in the sense that the shallow is the only thing I've been able to find that does the job the way I want it done. Now this is really interesting, that the kind of slight tilts on these strings show me that originally this bridge and stop bar was slightly off the center line of the neck, which is so common. It's what I've just covered in my up and coming ebook, which is when you work off a template and you just hope your accuracy is all perfect and all connects up, you actually end up risking when the finished guitar is made, you risk the bridge and stop bar being slightly out of line, and in this case that's what we've got here. Now I've been able to put it right, so the bridge is now in the right place, but it's slightly off compared to, just very slightly off the now incorrect stop bar, which was correct to the original misplaced bridge. It was really funny how sensitive that is. But that's the fun of being able to correct it the way you want. Now, right, I filled that hole. There's a huge dent in the back actually, and I filled that. That's one of the other areas I repaired. I forgot that. I'm going to get a drill. I'm going to drill a starter hole. Find anywhere, any very fine drill bits. There's one. That'll do. Yep. So yes, I had to re-drill this hole. I'm gonna get an awful lot of run up at this, so I'm gonna have to just do this right here. Yeah, this is where it got bashed in by the courier, or the package hitting the floor and driving this strap button into the body of the guitar. Not good. Okay, feels nice. And then we've got one to do up here while we're at it. Might as well get that on. Nice. Fresh new strap buttons. Okay, so we are close to the finish point, and I just might string it up and stretch it a bit now first, just make sure the action's just about right. Of course, we've got the spare tuner sitting there, which we sort of know about from before. Okay. After this, I'm going to put the radio on, and unbeknownst to you and me, what am I going to do? I am going to play the radio, listen to some rubbish radio, and fire up my new spray gun machine. Okay, let's have a look at the spacing now. Am I happy with that spacing? Yes, I think I just about am. Hasn't moved from before, so let's just have a feel of this. Maybe a fraction too low. Well, we'll check. We might as well stick to the government sanctioned 1.5 millimeters before we go any further. And that's quite low. So there we go, a bit more, tighten it up, sort of put it under load. That's about right. And that is coming in at too high. Down a bit. Still too high. Am I going up or down here? I'm going in. Take it in. Oh, too low. Okay, 1.25. Too low. 1.5. Okay, that's where I want to be. Big handful of guitar. Right, now I can grab me the bing, which has gone for a walk over somewhere. There we are. I was using it a minute ago. Where have you gone to? Joe DiMaggio, there you are. Where did you go, Joe DiMaggio? Nation tells us only eyes to you. Big handful of guitar, I tell you. It's a storm out there. Let's just do a quick check on the small amplifier for now. It's easy to get hold of. I don't know what this weighs, this guitar. I shall put it on scales at home and later on. There it is. It gets the bleeding thing out. Loses it, gets another one out, loses it. That's it. Okay, nothing touching there. Have to look under the hood. Go under the hood. Don't know whether it's Okay, bit of fiddling to look behind the covers. Not thrilled by the way the wiring is in here anyway. It's not exactly the most highest quality looking thing I ever saw in my life, but it's also complicated to the extent that I don't want to pull it apart unnecessarily. It might still be worth just plugging it in again to making sure. There's a new switch in there, and the new switch I had to bend the arms back a little bit because it's almost too long for the hole. So that's an Epiphone switch, you know, from original equipment with the guitar. And the problem with the new thing is it's slightly too big. Let's see if I can just see if anything obviously turns to be not good. Dangle there for a minute, my friend. Bridge pickup is not right happy. Why is that? That's connected, that should be connected, that's okay, that's going to there, that's connected across the top. Should be alright. It's working, it just doesn't seem to have the same output. I know it's lower by some distance, but it doesn't seem right. Is this one okay? I'm not sure about this pot. This shadow pot. Is that a kill switch? So it is, okay. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but it couldn't just be the distance of the pickup, could it? I'm sure it's not. What's going on here? That's okay. There shouldn't be anything there that isn't working. Shouldn't. You see? So what's that? That's not. Goes to both pickups, right? That's off there, that's joined in the middle there. Okay, it's making that much noise in both places. Question is that out of batteries now? That's something I won't know because it's now making the same sound on both. Okay, I think the battery I think the battery connector's either knackered or the battery's had it, because that's all I did was move the battery there, take it out, put it back in, and it's gone. But briefly it's come to life. So I think we need to put a new battery in it. But also I think we need to lift up the bridge pickup as well. I'm not going to do anything else with it just now. I'm going to put these screws back in. Yeah, all 4 of them, right? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think that's got either a problem with the battery connector, in which case I might as well order another one, and or it's a problem with the battery itself, which who knows how long it's been in there. Just pulling this up a bit. Yeah. Don't like that battery. Virtually nothing in it. I'm going to bin it. I've got some chargeable ones at home. I'll try those out before I do anything else, but I suspect that's what's the problem. Now I'm just looking here. I'm short of one single. 3 screws. Right, 3, 4. Okay, I'm 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, let's change some things over. Thank you. What I'll do is I'm going to hang this up here till tomorrow, and I'll bring a new battery up, check it out, and make sure that that's what the issue is. I'm pretty certain it is, judging by the fact there's no charge in there at all. But what I need to do is I just need to reconfigure this, because I've got the wrong screws in here. They're the short ones. Replace them with the longer grippy ones. Right then, there we go. Okay, we'll put these on here. We've got 2 of those and 3 of those. That's it. And 4 of those. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's fine. Let's put the truss rod cover back on for now. I'm fairly confident it's where I want it. Famous last words. Okay, the strings are a bit more balanced now. Let's just check what we've got in the way of neck relief. That's okay, not bad. Okay, gonna hang this up. We'll check out the battery issue tomorrow and make sure that's what the problem is. There's not really any reason it would be anything else unless something's come unconnected, disconnected along the way, but I don't really see a solid reason why that would be the case. He said, looking at this, I suppose I could possibly have replaced the black for damped. That's what I'll do tomorrow as well. Replace the black that thing. Adjuster, no, pickup selector switch thing. Yeah, we've got a black one here, so that makes more sense. Right, okay, that's it, done for tonight. See you soon. Switch the cameras off one by one. Let's start over here. Good night, camera one. Okay, finally. Oh, these black guitars don't half pick up the mess. I'm going to need to sit down at home with a clean cloth on this one and just give it one final polish. But I'm pleased to say I think we're ready for a Tuesday dispatch on this baby. Not tomorrow because it's a bit late now for packing and stuff and I'm tired. But I think Tuesday, if I can just get rid of these fingerprints and stuff. There we go. Matt Heafy, ultra wide 6-string. All lovely and jubbly. Now, have we done a stretch out on here? I don't even know, to be honest. It's just been so confusing. Anyway, by the way, yesterday, right, this is a catch up. I better turn the amp off. What happened was, I say, go off. Yeah, so the problem was the same. So the charge of the battery hadn't fixed it. So what I decided I needed to do was to rewire it from scratch. So I slightly redesigned it because, all right, just backtrack. This guitar is not in its stock configuration. If it did come with EMGs, and I have no idea whether it did or it didn't, it has since been modified in the electrics department. So it was pretty messy. Yeah, it'd been modified and it wasn't exactly pretty. So I'm just going to do a couple of tweaks here. So what I did was, since it wasn't working properly, I thought, I know, I'll just rewire it, and I'll rewire it into a way that I can at least know that it's going to work, which I did. The only problem is I had to reuse the original pots, which is not so fantastic because they are, well, they're not really guitar pots, that's the first thing to say. So whoever wired them up used sort of, what would they be called? Rack pots, you know, for amplifiers with little legs on them rather than lugs. Legs rather than lugs. That's the word I'm looking for. Dead on 4. Yeah, so they weren't sort of standard, which made the job harder because I had to basically, you end up having to try and balance things together to get them to make contact. It's a bit not non-ideal, I have to say. But anyway, so that was the challenge of rewiring it. But anyway, even using the same components, it works now. Had I known that it was non-standard, because I think the other thing about EMGs is they come with their own pots usually, so typically something that has EMGs in it will often have the EMG pots fitted as standard. But this obviously was a mixture of someone's got some EMGs from somewhere and decided to fit them, which is completely fine. I think that's about right. Yeah, so just on the mark, that one. Okay, I'll do a bit more stretching and then we'll get ready to put her in the case and take her home. Yeah, so this is definitely was non-standard anyway, with the EMGs fitted. I have a feeling, I'm not sure whether EMGs, a pair of EMGs is supposed to work off 18 volts instead of 9. This is working off 9, one single 9 volt, so I don't know whether that's a problem or whether it could be improved by 18. My Seymour Duncans there run off 18 on my parts caster Strat there. Okay, I'm going to, in a minute, I'm going to also need to check the intonation. This is a dicey bridge to intonate, I have to say. It's a great bridge for this conversion, but it is not very good for setting the intonation. Flat and flat and flat, flat and flat, flat and flat. Okay. Well, the challenge you've got facing you with this bridge is you get down there, you take off the thingy, then you've got to get a suitable screwdriver in there to make an adjustment. And this thing, in my experience, does not muchly want to move. Well, it's not so bad, but it's a bit of a stiff old creature. So I'm going to drag that forward to this point here, replace it. Now let's try. Don't like to put pressure on that, it's a crap design. For people who work on a bench it is. Good. Right, that tells me the marker point for these strings. So now I'm going to go and manually change each one of the others to that point. I'll bring them forward to match. So it's kind of a visual match-up at the moment. Because I don't like to drag this particular make of these saddles, they don't particularly want to go forward under load. So I'm going to sort of guesstimate them for now. It's just how it has to be, I'm afraid. So I'm just, if the note's flat, the string's too long, so you need to bring it closer. Bring the saddle closer to the nut to reduce the length of the string. Okay, I'm sort of judging this by eyeballs and instincts. Let's just stick with it this minute. Okay, they're a bit flat. Right, I'm going to take everything a little bit forward. In fact, it's going to go as far forward as it will go, because that's the, well, this E will anyway, that's the end of the movement. So to me, little E. Come to me, little B. Come to me, little G. Okay, that's those three. Okay. Let's do these. Okay, so this one needs to be forward of the G. Forward, backwards. Give everything a pull. Oh, pulled it off its saddle. Nice. Okay, whew, get there in the end. Well, that's been a challenging one, not least the damage that it sustained on the way down. But anyway, thanks for sticking with it. I hope it was interesting, just as a practical set of problems to overcome, really. But we got there in the end, and you know, with some repairs that, you know, while you can see them if you look for them, you wouldn't really notice by just feeling the edge. This was a big hole before, as you probably remember. Anyway, there you go, that's done. So Pete, this will be on its way to you on Tuesday. Thank you for watching. See you again soon as I undo all the cameras and switch them off.